We're gonna try. We're gonna try this out. I'm not sure you're trying that. I know. Watch me.
I'll get my camera.
I know. It's okay. It's good. I'll check out every 2 later if I turn the ball. It's okay. At least I like life. So I'm super thankful. So I might cry a little bit at the time, but I'll laugh later. I promise. All right, Gary, I'm good to start if you're good to start.
Now we have four.
Everyone would call this meeting to order. We have a couple of Mike and Debbie. And I hope you'll send them any courtesy. Let's go ahead and get things started. Michael's not here tonight, so I'm gonna have to add his part. Last time we were talking of, Philip, let's review the minutes real quick. You know, if the minutes are basically on the page here. Sorry. And go ahead and take a minute to read them. Everything looks in order to me, but double check it. I have missed things before.
Thank you so much. Okay, and assume that I need to put some.
If I had a chance to go over them. A couple small minor things, but noteworthy. The minutes appear to me to be correct. Everything looks in order. I'm asking for a motion to approve the minutes. Very motions. And valid seconds. That's the only thing I noticed was a small error with resource updates, but it's not important and not worth dealing. Last month, we made the clarity of the designated between chair and vice chair. But as I said, that was more formality than anything. And we will vote to approve the minutes. All in favor? All right. Any nay? Pat. So we can go basically right into discussion about what we were setting goals for. Did you say, ladies?
Sure.
What we were setting goals for are actually achievable goals. It's my hope that this committee can absorb as much correct information as we can. So while we're out there amongst people or friends or events, they can look to us for guidance, for directing them towards resources. If we don't have that information, then we can direct them to the appropriate agency or person for the correct. The whole idea is to get the right information out there, because if we give them incorrect information, then we're just giving them tools for failure from Jump Street. And if we're condemning them to failure, what are we really doing? We're supposed to be out there as being leaders in the community, ending the stigma, trying to educate people that, homelessness is not define you, does not make you you're not a subhuman, you're just in a bad situation. It's fixable. It can be fixed. Some people get into depression and, oh, I can't do it. Yeah, you can. We'll help you.
I know last time we kind of talked about the goals that we were going to start to achieve in the community and everything, and we had kind of started to establish some kind of subcommittees with some leads and everything like that. Nothing set in stone or anything like that. We're kind of just starting like the exploration stages. I know a couple groups said that maybe they were going to meet outside of, this group meeting, anything like that. One of the things that we had kind of talked about was the resource familiarization. One of them was like the public education for like the stigma that Gary was talking about. And then I know we also did discuss the yellow book placement, which we will talk about a little bit later on. But I just kind of want to touch base and kind of do a temperature check on how any of that went. Did anybody meet up? Did anybody have any discussions, even if they were informal discussions? How did it go since last meeting?
I personally have not shared any discussions with anyone, but I would hope they would brainstorm on it in their free time. Basically, we need to make the availability to as much of the populace as we can. Monday night at Elevated, Trinity, Monday through Friday, make sure that they have the resource so that if somebody needs it, open that. If we are exposed to information that the general public does not get, all right, whether or not they are, how should they technically challenged or whatever, and they deal better with a face-to-face verbal. There are people that do that. And I'm hoping that we can be the bridge.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I'm one of those people. Like, I prefer that face-to-face. I prefer that paper and pencil encounter more so than technology. So I can definitely relate to that. Did anyone else give any thought to any of that? Either ways that we can kind of go out in the community and we can kind of combat that stigma, or even the resource familiarization. I know that one thing that I did was I looked over the yellow books. Like, I went through it with like a real fine tooth comb this time and really familiarized myself with it, because quite frankly, I had gone to certain things that I was interested in looking at in the book, but I hadn't gone through it all the way. Did anyone make any like strides in any of those areas that they want to talk about, or does anyone have any suggestions in those areas?
I was able to find myself at the larger library, and I didn't see any of the yellow books anywhere, so I sat stacked there that I got from Gary. And I read with everybody that I introduced the book to. I point them out to the appendix and tell them you can go there and look for what you're interested in. It tells you a page where you can find all the people, the phone numbers, the addresses of people that are willing to do the thing you're interested in. I usually do that whenever I give out a book, because people who may not know that,
I think it's a great idea. Yep, I think that's great.
That's exactly what I'm hoping for.
Great.
I said, there are many different reasons that they can't find the resource. Some of them are technically challenging. Sit down with a computer and pull something off on Google or whatever the case may be. And sometimes the best way that you can communicate to them is face-to-face, verbal, and who are they going to trust? Are they going to trust a social worker or a fellow homeless that's been there, boots on the ground, knows what it's like? those are the ones that, yeah, okay, this guy doesn't, man or woman, knows what they're talking about. And they will, you will get more information will be absorbed than if, they think that you're, for some reason, they think you're a social worker or a cop or something like that.
Yeah,
Right, one ear and out the other. Yeah, okay. I'm almost saying the same thing in an informal setting makes all the world of difference.
Yeah, I agree, and I know that we've talked about this before, but, if like, let's just say that there's one yellow book, you can always take pictures of that page for that person, or even multiple pictures, so if it is a situation where you're in, I think Gary, I think it was you that had suggested that before, but it could have been someone else, excuse me if it was, but I think that's a fantastic idea. And absolutely, from a different perspective of everything, we have to work really hard in order to gain trust from people. And I mean, we all do to a certain extent, but people that have been in the same shoes, like you all are invaluable to our community, because you help spread those resources in like a trustworthy fashion. And you see things from a perspective that I have not seen it from, and I appreciate that, and getting all of your opinions and all of your feedback and everything like that. So I mean, definitely continue on with that good work, because it is really, really important. As far as like the stigmas, I know we've talked a lot about it, and I know we've kind of we started on it, we stopped on it, we started on it and stopped on it, kind of like some stuff in the past. Has anybody thought of like any ideas about how we would like to spread the word on the stigma part of it? How homelessness can happen to anyone. We are like all humans, people in a situation. I know before we've kind of maybe talked about like some social media stuff. Has anyone thought about that a little bit more, come up with any ideas that they would be interested in? I think at some point in time, we'd also talked about maybe speaking with some different, maybe some people that are they're going to school, and they're going to be like in the field, maybe showing them a different perspective. Did you guys give any thought about that since our last meeting at all? Or are you still kind of working on it? It's a tough one. It's a really tough one. It's a really, really important one, but it's like a really tough one, because how can you reach the people around you in a meaningful fashion and like still in like a big group of people? And I know that a lot of you guys are out there like trying to fight stigma every day. So how can we, bring that to the table here and make it like a group thing, so that instead of doing it like on an individual basis, which I know you all are already doing, how can we kind of make it a little bit more formal and kind of like a blast into the community versus just like, because the one-on-one stuff is invaluable, again, it really is. But, how can we reach people in the community on a bigger scale?
Thank you. Just sitting in and listening to this, social media, as we all know, is used by absolutely everyone these days. What about setting up a profile page on, say, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for this committee, with featuring all of you who actually have the lived experience and ideas and so that others might message and benefit from this committee.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Like, I know people they're very squeamish about putting themselves out there, but even such a page, we could make a recorded interview talking. What's it like to be homeless, How did your particular situation evolve? You're trying to get the story out there. It doesn't matter who you are. Take 3 is iffy, 5 for sure. Paychecks out of your budget. And then you have to catch up first, last security, move to a new place. We're talking about moving in a place and costing you $5,000. Who can afford that? Especially if you lost a couple paychecks. say you got sick for 3 or 4 weeks, you could work. Your boss wasn't gonna cover your being sick. Well, that's how many $1,000 that you got out of your budget, how are you gonna recover from that? You know?
So maybe are you thinking like that this like, I'm just using like any social media platform, but like if it was like a Facebook group, do you think like showing like the myths versus the realities of homelessness and bringing that to light? Like how many of you have $5,000 for first, last, and deposit? And sometimes it's even more than that, you know, maybe something like that on it. And I do know that like on Facebook, you can post like anonymously now. So, you know, people are a little bit more like squeamish with showing like their actual identity and stuff. It does have that like aspect of anonymity, so.
Since most people use a phone, possibly post something on the phone which would reach a lot of people who try to, let's say, have reservations about homeless people or problems, and maybe give a number they can call in, like to 211.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and answers that way, that would help clear that, it would reach a lot of people.
Them recording on their own, on their phone,
Yeah.
is a very good idea, because they could do that in the privacy where they would feel comfortable. We get more people contributing in, and then we can just post multiple interviews. And see, that way the people doing the interview completely control the content. We can review it, is it to the point, is it concise, is it, boom. We can put that up on the site, people can go find them well.
Yeah, recording on the phone.
Yeah.
That would be very, very good.
Yeah.
That would reach a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. All right.
I was gonna say that, expanding on the idea that she has is to be able to have them maybe ask questions that we can come back at and answer, or get an idea of what people are. That way we can get a fresh eye on what people are struggling with, and then answer those questions directly that other people could hear and take from whatever the answer is.
Guide the interview, give them a course to follow along with it. That way we don't end up on some tangent or something. You know, just a series of generalized questions. Can you cover this?
What we could also use that social media profiles for, as far as this committee is concerned, is making sure that we have the yellow pages, as Gary likes to call them, for the homeless. Have those resources put right there on the Facebook pages, on the Instagram pages, so that everyone is going to have access to that information, whether they will be able to look on them or not, if they lost it, etc.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know how to use
Right.
the code or whatever that's on
The barcode reader,
Yeah,
yes.
so you get PDF, a lot of people don't know how to do that, so that falls on deaf ears.
Right, but we could also post the site directly to, we could go to the resource book online and capture the address to it, and you can post that, and then they can click on that, and it will automatically go to it. So, we can get around that, but yeah, I totally agree with you. Some people, and they don't have a barcode reader on their phone.
Right.
Some of them might not have constant internet, they can only do it when they get Wi-Fi. Yeah, and then at that point, they'll be like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
They'll give up. So, we can put like a web address, they could just, when they're looking at it, they'll have to be on a phone or on a computer. They'll be able to click that and it'll take them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well.
Is this something that you guys, that you feel like you can do like outside of this meeting? Because I mean, this would be one of those things that would probably need to be like kept up with pretty regularly. So, is that something that you guys think
We
would be
could, I
having
could get a
time?
study room at any time, and we could do it in between our meetings
Okay,
and set up whatever, things like the assistants.
okay.
Let me know, if not, that's good too.
No, I think that's great.
If there's someone who's very versed with the technology, who would be
I'm so sorry for, apologize for speaking with me in my mouth, very rude. I was just wondering if there is someone who's here in the room who has that level of technical comfort in building said social media profiles and providing the links, etc.
Is anyone kind of in that? Is anyone familiar with any social media platform that, like, they consider themselves like super familiar with it?
I use Instagram.
Learning, we're learning, so we're all kind of in the same boat and we're all kind of learning. Okay.
No, I'm probably the advanced one where, I'm even more sneaking it, so I always put
Okay, that's
1,000
great.
pictures on Facebook like a weekend.
Okay, that's great.
So.
So that might be like a good role for you to play. So,
I do know how to do it though.
okay, do you have like a social do we have like a social media, like a platform
My
of
snakes have their own
preference?
Facebook page and there's probably like 2 or 3 million pictures on that stuff.
Okay,
There's like over 10 years of pictures of me, taking pictures of all.
so then I'm gonna, go on, Gary.
Data Lake has a page on, Facebook, does it not?
So the HLA does, yes, but I think that this would have to be like independent of the HLA.
Okay.
This would need to be like, you know, I don't even know what you guys could call it. You could come up with your own name, whatever you wanted to call it. I would suggest that we specify that it's Pinellas County, or else you might get people from California wanting to talk to you about resources. You might get people from Maine that want to talk to you, you know, so you just don't. So, I mean, I would suggest it have something with Pinellas County in it, but really you guys can name it whatever you felt like was appropriate.
And stuff like that.
You said that you're very familiar with Facebook and set up a platform with videos like that? Okay.
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate, and not because I don't think this is a good idea, but just because some other things to think about. So on social media, obviously, there's a lot of opportunity for good. There's also a lot of opportunity for people to troll you and to come in and say negative things and to bring the atmosphere to like a down, like instead of it being like a good space, like share resources with and share experiences with. It also, those people can slip in and they can slip through the cracks, even in group, like if you're gonna, you know, kind of try to monitor it. So I think that that would be definitely something to think about, is how would you handle that negative feedback? Because we know it occurs in the community. We know it's gonna be there.
Yeah.
So maybe getting a game plan and on like, how are we gonna handle that negative feedback so that we don't walk down a road that we're not proud to walk down, you know?
There's options and stuff. It's just as simple as go on there and create a page and then like, start promoting it, whatever, but there's options on there for, well, yeah, it's like Instagram or any other ones where you can set up the page to, for the moderators to approve the messages before they get posted and all that stuff.
Okay.
So when it's the job of having to go through all of the, I mean, you listen to anybody that's doing a podcast or running or some Dan or Stephen Crowder, they get 1,000 of that stuff like a day.
They do, yes.
So it's
a lot.
retarded, so I mean, it's like, yeah, that's simple. You can set all that stuff up.
I suggest that we all agree upon it, all right, that the LEAC operates a page, and we put the interviews, we could even find interviews that we could post on it. We read one of our committee members, I mean, there'll obviously be 2 moderators, somebody that's gonna post it and take care of that, and we decide the name of the page, you know, because we want to grab attention, but that's something that we could operate as an LEAC committee itself, and we can start getting the word out.
Does anybody know how often it would have to be monitored in order to keep that kind of bad actor controlling the website for an extended length of time? I mean, is somebody going to have to look at it every day, twice a day, once a week? How does that work? Because somebody's going to have to obligate themselves to put in that time.
that's why I said a moderator. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a way of improving the last talking and all that stuff. That's
Yeah.
not like hidden what we wanted to.
Yeah, I gotta do that first.
This person will have to look at the page every day or every other day, because there'll be people referring in. They'll be writing into the page, and entity. Yeah, so they're gonna want to respond, to make it an active interaction.
I just don't know if we have manpower now with such a small committee to man something like
You
that.
only need one person posting the video, maybe two people running.
And what would you guys think about maybe trying to, I mean, kind of what I'm thinking in my head is that it'll probably start off relatively small and grow.
Right.
Because, it's not like, I don't think that you guys would start it and then just overnight, all of a sudden, it's gonna be like massively large.
Yeah.
So it might even give you some time to kind of practice those roles. Like you can each like take a role and it like, well, maybe one person will be the moderator, maybe two people will be the moderator, maybe one person you'll say that you're gonna look at posts on Tuesdays and Thursdays and you're gonna pick like what is gonna get put up, what is gonna go through. So maybe since it will hopefully, start off kind of small and manageable, I'm thinking maybe it would give you some practice in those roles before it got like too big. What do you think?
Well, we all are working on it. It's a collective group effort. I mean, Norm could come up with a video, Mary could come up with a video, Gary could come up with a video, and then we have someone that will, will post it on the site for us. If we see a problem, and we can always, but we're doing this as a group. Not one of us always doing it as a group. And we all are tasked with finding good, interviews, and we could record them on our phone and just upload them. It can be created and have its own email address. You can upload it to there. They can take and post the videos easily. I personally know how to do it, but I don't think I would be able to dedicate the proper amount of time to it. Because I had quite a few forks in the funding pot, maybe. But, somebody's gonna have to check it every other day, but we could all work on video, we could all make any of us. Find somebody, talk to them, this is kind of what we're looking, we want you to tell your story, but we want you to cover these topics. Not saying that we're directing them, but at least cover these areas, and then we can post those on the page for people to view freely. And then what we do is we post it as public, open. Anybody can view it, anybody can share it, and then it'll start to ripple out. But yeah, anything we post full-blown public. Anybody can view it, anybody can share it. They don't have to be on the friends list, just wide open. And that's the only way that you can really ensure it, because if somebody likes it, they'll share it with Mike, and then Mike, yeah, man, Gary, check this out, and then, hang on, that's how it'll get out.
Agreed, I agree with Gary, but I think when the next yellow book comes out, we can put that website on the front of the book, and people could go to that and ask questions and give answers in time and advance.
Also, the link to the page?
Yeah, and
That
so
might be an idea.
it would also give us a chance to put a lot of these things that we're talking about doing as a committee out into the public so that they can give us feedback.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
We
like
get a
that.
lot more people
And
involved because
That's
that's
the
the best.
young lady that can make it happen right there. Well,
Yeah.
one.
One of them. No,
But yeah, that's a very good idea.
that's a really good idea. So if anybody didn't hear that, just making sure that when that yellow book update comes out, that it's posted to that page,
Mhm.
either the link or just instructions on how they can find it. That way people can either locate it in person or have it on their phone.
We could even put a video about the yellow book and how the information is in there.
With
how
the
to find-
appendices,
yeah,
how to things
yeah.
up, yeah, that would be huge.
I mean, you can find just about everything on YouTube nowadays. Why can't we have something like that help them find the information?
We should have something that makes it
Find
simple.
the stuff, or,
people are scared and they're not, you know, they're not in their best set of mind anyway when they first become homeless and they don't know what to do. And easy access would be huge.
Even explaining what 211 is really about. You know, because a lot of people don't really understand the purpose of 211. We having somebody sit down and run an informative video. This is what it's about. This is what it's for. This is how you can use this and blah, blah, blah. And just basically blow the lid off it. You know, this is what it's about. A lot of people that, yeah. They're caught up in I don't know, stigma of sorts, but you know, I can't do it. You know, everything's against, you know, this is relax.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Spit back out the other place. With 211, a little encouragement to keep trying, people spit out, because I've tried it a couple times and they just cut me around and turn them off and, you know what I mean? To not give up, because they are there to help, and just, I don't consider the operators as necessarily trained, because we should be out to help.
Yeah.
But if they don't give up, the resources are there, and they should be trying.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess I'm gonna encourage you guys to just keep thinking about similar things, either ideas for this possible Facebook group, like these videos ideas, or either time that you guys can take together or outside of this meeting and touch base about this, depending on who wants to create the group versus who might wanna, you know, check in on it once a week.
Yeah, I think I feel like this is great, honestly.
The easy part is creating the whole thing, it's maintaining it and having to deal with all of the.
And the objective of fairness, has anybody got any rebuttal about it? Something that needs, not might work, not work, or? I mean, in all fairness.
The only thing I would worry about is not having, people have negative come on and then not be there for 3 or 4 days before anybody realizes it's there.
No, anything that whoever our moderator is, or one of our committees that's gonna do that, will obviously view the video first.
Well, that's the first thing we need is a commitment from somebody.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, they already have the whole stuff on the Instagram.
we would obviously view the video first. Something with a negative agenda or issue like that, we probably have to refrain. You know, we're not trying to form the agenda, but.
We gotta cut that quick, you know, like you said. Can't have that.
Great. So, I guess my next question would be then, what would you all like the role of, I don't really necessarily want to say what do you want the role of HLA to be, but what do you want the role of these meetings to be in regard to that goal of, you know, it's kind of like fighting the stigma, but it's also kind of providing resources, like it's a little bit of everything that we kind of are working on right now. Do you want this to be just kind of like a touch base area where, you know, maybe every meeting we take 5 minutes, 10 minutes to talk about like, hey, how's it going? Is it going good? Are you having issues? Are there barriers? Or do you want it to be like every few months we talk about it? Or what would you like for that part to look like? Or do you want some time to think about what you want that to look like? And we can talk about that during agenda setting or during our next meeting, or what do you think about that part?
I have to digest that a little bit myself.
Yeah,
personally.
absolutely.
But it's my hope that, and if you read the breakdown with the CFP, we're supposed to end the stigma is that we get an understanding of the entire process that a lot of people don't. Be leaders in the homeless community. They're looking for somebody that knows what they're talking about. Somebody that's been there, done that. You know, they don't listen to somebody that lives in a condominium telling them about how it's like on the street. You know, and you've lost the audience there. But leaders in the community, that's how we're going to break the stigma, because they're going to look to us for leadership, look for us for information, where can I find this, or where can I do that? A lot of them, I don't know. Well, we have some pretty important speakers come in here. We got an opportunity to really grab information that's helpful to them. Like, for instance, how many people that know that you can bypass the $11 fee on the PSCA bus pass if you have a St. Pete address? You have St. Pete address on your ID, and you get a piece of junk mail showing that you actually have a St. Pete address. Your bus pass costs you nothing.
It's those kind of tips and tricks and stuff that I think the community would really benefit from.
And the only way I know that is we had the CEO of PSCA come to speak to us, and he told us all of that meeting.
If you get a student ID too, then it's nothing you told you that.
So it's like,
You sign up for a class, you get a student ID, you can ride free whenever you want.
Fantastic.
so, we kind of,
Yeah, you still
I don't
sign up for a class and they'll go. I'm serious, I'm not kidding.
I don't know about anybody else. I got on the committee to make a difference in the community. It's to help people get a hand up where I didn't know and I couldn't when I needed it.
Yeah.
So I learned the fact that we don't have this.
Yeah.
We don't have somebody advocating. It's just telling us where to get a hot meal, where we can get long showers.
And I think you said it best. Whenever, especially when you first become homeless, a lot of times people they're in a crisis. They don't know these things at all.
Oh, yeah.
So having, a place to go to virtually, because a lot of times people don't have transportation either to get to a local pub where they can get it. So a lot of people do have phones though, so they can always, get linked up with this group where you provide. I think it's great.
When you first get into it, what am I going to do now? You actually freeze up
Yep,
because
I
you're
love
in
it.
panic mode.
People are already not very social, so they don't want to go to people they don't know and start asking.
I love that perspective because you're absolutely right, and it's not something that we think about a lot, that when you very first become homeless, it's a very scary time.
Right.
And it's
If you're
what
not
do
very
I
social
do?
anyway, now you're really withdrawn
Right.
from your shell.
Absolutely.
You're scared to death.
Absolutely. And we do have, the places where people do meet up, but what if, like you said, you're not social? What if you're an introvert? What if you prefer to, kind of sift through things on your own at first?
Right.
But you still kind of do need that social aspect. This kind of dabbles in both.
And
So
the fear of the unknown into that, and then you have people who, they're just a wall between them and the resources that are offered by the community.
And you have some people that are afraid to reach out too. They're in a position that maybe they didn't think that they would be in their life, and they're like, wow, I don't either know who to reach out to, or I don't. So I think that would be, I think a social media group with you guys giving tips and tricks and videos, I think that's great. I think this is a fantastic idea.
Then you got the scenario of my brother dying today, and then within 6 months, the friend sold the house off for me, and it was like, man.
It can happen to anyone. It can happen to anyone.
That's how I ended up.
It can
Would
absolutely
it be
happen.
possible that you guys, if it does get off the ground, it seems to be doing well, to get some kind of something on 211 that would offer for information and just open forum to talk, discuss, whatever, and then send them our way?
Yeah, and this might link you all to people that I know, but I know that a few of you had talked about maybe doing some, talking to different people in the community and stuff like this. This might open the doors for something else down the road for you as well. So, this could be kind of a little, a stepping stone too to other things. So.
The whole Facebook page, you have to envision the concept of your own personal page, or whatever. It's the same concept, only where it's representing a cause or a business or whatever.
It takes out
Instead of your own, right, instead of your own personal thing, you're the whole facade of the page and everything is all
Absolutely. One thing I think I may have missed, I kind of heard it, but just to get some clarification, do you feel like this was something that, like, if this is this a group that you want to start off being like a private group or a public group? Do you want people to be, that you have to go through, like, let's just say they send a request to be in the group?
I'd like to see yourself before where somebody can put a question in and then wait.
Okay.
Like, with any kind of help, you know.
Okay.
You can get an answer about where they might go for information or whatever it is the question is.
Well, and that's something with the chat groups and stuff too, is that you can have, I have about like 6 or 7 different movie chat groups, like one for each movie that, different one that we're doing, so we have one for this movie and then this one, and we all talk, like, we're all the same group of people, we're all talking about different things with the director and, yeah.
Just to be mindful of the agenda, I do know that, Gary, we kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the yellow book placements. I know that we had that next on the agenda. I know we kind of talked about that a little bit. Do we want to switch gears to continue to have this conversation? Maybe you guys can have it outside of the meeting, and then we can switch gears to the yellow book placement, and then we can touch base again at next meeting and see what you guys have come up with, see if you guys got anything started. What do you think? Are we ready to move on to the yellow book
Before we move on, I just
placement?
wanted to offer that if we could get it going, is there a possibility of starting up a low-cost or free AI that might be able to answer those kind of questions without constantly being monitored?
Yes, you can set up an AI agent in order to monitor all your cell phone.
I was gonna say, I'll be very honest, I don't have any.
I don't know really how to do any of that, but I know that you can.
So that's something to explore, definitely. You guys can look into that and find out, because do you know anything about that?
Yeah,
No,
you
but
can
I
set up
would-
a Claude or a GPT agent or whatever that will monitor that stuff.
Yeah.
You can do that automatically, depending on whatever rules it is that you
Right.
had it set up.
I think it would be possible, but it would be maybe difficult since a lot of the information shared in those kinds of groups is sensitive. You know, even though there are public resources, you never know what somebody would ask, and that goes into like data usage and everything. So it's definitely something that you guys can continue to talk about and can be explored. Why not?
Yeah, I just really
Come
haven't
up
done
with a
any
good
stuff.
idea, would there be any kind of resources available for us to put into something like that if it became worthwhile?
We can look into that. We can absolutely look into it, and whenever we do a little touch base next week to see, you know, like after we've kind of thought about it, I know we talked about a little bit about like what do you want this meeting's role to be and stuff, so we can kind of think about that. We can look into it on our side of things. I don't, right off the bat, I don't have an answer for you, unfortunately, but we can get a better, yeah, it's a great question, honestly. It's a great question, so we can look into it and we can bring that information back to the next meeting if you'd like.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
personally that it's possible because Phil Avanti on the Timcast IRL, he talks about it, he's been talking about it for like the past 6 months all the time. He gets to add the Claude agent and it does all this stuff for him.
Okay, yeah, we can look into that definitely on our
I
side
just
and bring that
personally right now
information
don't
back.
know a lot about it except for what they talk about.
Me
I
neither,
know
and
that-
I would
I know
hate
that-
to
I know
steer
that
you
they
in a
do it, so I
direction
think it's
that
possible.
made it seem like I knew anything more than absolutely nothing, because I
Right.
promise you, I know absolutely nothing about it, so, but
I hear good things, I'd like to.
I,
explore
like,
them.
as I say, but I'm a pretty good information finder, and we can bring that back to this next meeting for sure.
I haven't really done a lot of stuff with my computer because I have my nose up somebody's, with 4 legs and doing something else.
All right, so moving on to the yellow book placement. Great conversation, guys, great discussion, I
I
appreciate
placed
it.
some at
Great
the
ideas.
libraries, and we talked about other places, so.
We need to get some more of the Largo apparently.
On the library up there.
Yeah, because there was nothing out there, and there was nobody, you know, even knew where to put something, and I was like, you know, it's only, 95 miles away.
Agreed, yep,
So
I think that's a
said,
great
well, let's put a
place.
stack somewhere, and they say, yeah, put it right here, and that's fine.
And also in Clearwater, I'll put them over Berlin.
Okay. That's a great area, because a lot of people don't get out in that area,
I
like,
live up there.
that's fantastic. Okay, that's great. How are you doing on the amount of books you have right now? Do you still have books?
I
Are
think
they
that's what I
all?
have, but all I got is what I got from Gary and that was.
I do.
Okay,
I
'cause-
still have both,
okay, so you are still good, so
yeah.
whenever we talk about putting them in these different places, okay, research
Still got
is still
both,
though, okay, perfect.
I don't have enough to be dropping 20 at
Sure,
different locations, but personally, I can outfit the committee with stuff that they can have on deck, on hand
okay,
for when they need it.
okay, so mindful placement, you have enough for mindful placement, okay, great.
Places where they might gather, like places we know, go back to, the library, any place where they're gonna go and in search of cool shelter, considering how hot it's been. Any other suggestions?
Yeah. I know that at some point in time, someone had thrown out there maybe a Panera or two. I was in Panera the other day and they have there was like a board. I don't know how well our book will just go on that board. I don't know if you guys have tried that, what your experience has been with that, or is Panera something that you all are still trying to explore?
Panera has allowed me to post yellow books up there,
Okay,
and they usually go pretty quick.
okay,
There's about 8 or 10 recognizably homeless that come through there
okay.
because they will let you charge your phone.
Mhm.
Yeah, long. Yeah. So, but I think the Largo Library definitely is a place where we should have some there, for sure. Also, Gulfport Library.
Okay,
Gulfport Library has a large homeless community down that end of town. Has anyone ever gone to the new Obama St. Peter's Library? 9th Avenue North and like 37th Street?
Yeah, that's Panera, that's one of the originals.
Yeah, but ever since it's been remodeled, it doesn't have any books there.
I didn't know that they changed.
Well, if they did, it'd be 3 years old. It's been, well, at least to my knowledge.
Well, also there's several other Paneras in the area, and there's a group of homeless people hanging out at all. So somebody who has a vehicle or a way to get around, to get all to those places, they would be happy to do the same thing with our local ones.
And I will be going down to a dinner they have down at Unitarian Church downtown. And everybody in that entire area usually comes there for dinner time. I'll be going down there with some books. I don't know any distribution points that would have them, except for, I don't know the name of the church, but down by Williams Park, the northeast corner, that big white and brick church.
Another big library right down there.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not where the library, but there's a large church that every Wednesday, they have shower up there. And people show up for a hot shower, and I've supplied them with books in the past, so that would be a good place to make sure, because they give them socks, they get underwear, they get a hot shower, everything.
I love that idea because one thing I didn't know about the yellow books that I did learn whenever I was going through them is it even has resources for like haircuts and stuff like that.
Yes.
So that's a fantastic idea to keep them around the shower ups because sometimes after people clean they do realize like, hey, maybe a haircut is like something that would benefit me and they're like mental health wise, or maybe they have a job interview, or who knows what the situation might be.
Just
So I really like that.
Now, to be look clean, you feel better, you feel
Yeah.
more safe because you got better,
Yep.
state of mind.
Hygiene is
What you said a little earlier was what I was trying to reiterate a couple weeks ago, was about what you having, things up in the books up in Europe, we have to get those where people will, we have to do more of that at more places. That's kind of what my point I was trying to make once ago.
It was also the place where I was posting, join the COC flyers. And I was trying to get the middle upper class people with some money to join us and help contribute into the cause. You know, bottom line is, you want to get this cause momentum, we're going to have to get people money in there too. So it's going to contribute. And my whole thought was to try and get people in there because they're, in the morning you can sell, they're executives, they're, you know, set managers of places and things of that nature. And that's the kind of people that we want to pull into the cause, pull into our organization, get involved with us. Debbie knows a lot of people that volunteer, and she used to be at Raymond James.
Oh, yeah.
So she knows quite a few people. And we even have a bunch of volunteers and such that come from different businesses. And our yellow books are permanently stationed at Northside Baptist.
Okay.
I make sure that the reference desk has them. And they get them, there's times I get pulled into prayer rooms to help people find particular services. I even sometimes throw my bike machines through there. I just dropped off a whole bunch of kids' bikes within the last week.
Video game store by Berkeley Small Town in Arkansas. Well, you know that because we went there and gave them our games.
Yeah, yes I do. Mike? Was the mic for a few minutes? No? Mary?
One question that kind of, so we've talked a lot about like different places to put them, and I like that we've brought in like businesses and stuff like that, like different people, so that we can get like different crowds of people and stuff like that. And I know we've also talked about this people like whenever they first become homeless. Do you think that whenever a person first becomes homeless, where do you think is the first place that they go for assistance, or they go for, you know, where's the first place that they go? Is it?
The Crystal Building.
Okay.
Somewhere like a food pantry church.
Okay, like, okay,
Yeah, that's another
Okay.
thing too. When I first became homeless and I was walking around with the dogs, the park up in Clearwater or something, that,
okay. And I would think maybe someplace to charge your phone.
yeah. Pull off the dogs. The only thing with 211 is that it's like I'm saying, I want you to have everything done first before you home. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Quick to start you right back out.
All right, so again, just be mindful of time. Gary, do you want to go on and move forward to the resource updates? Do we have any resource updates?
I have a resource update. I've been working with Darren at Elevated, and we're going to bring showers up to Elevated. I don't know if we're going to do it on Monday night, but it's in the final stages, and we're looking into, obviously we live in a world of lawyers, so we have to have liability insurance. But we're in the final stages of that. I was actually walking around this Monday, looking at the clean outs and the final preparation. Where could we put the trailer? Where can we hook the pipes up? Where can that happen?
No battery, please charge.
What happened?
Something needs to be charged.
Oh.
It's okay, I think we're gonna make it though. We're gonna
We're
make
almost
it
there.
today, so we'll figure out what needs to be charged, and hopefully we'll get that taken care of for next time.
Okay.
Maybe.
It'll work till somebody can't do
How
something.
are you? Get it worked out.
Still very sensitive. That one's still hot?
Yeah.
Hot.
We'll go with them
Yeah,
until
no,
they
we're-
aren't going with us anymore.
Yeah.
So we'll run them into the ground, so, and like I said, Mimi and I will make sure they're charged for next time.
Yeah. Does anyone else have any resource updates? You hear of anything coming in churches, anything, Hopfield, anything? Nothing? Right. If you do, please bring them into the committee's attention. so that way we can, share them with the rest. I think, elevated having showers will be a big deal, because we won't have to deal with the, issues that I'm sure everybody knows what I'm referring to. But, it'll be a lot more open, a lot more transparent situation. And they're already having the hot meals, and Darren, who runs the hot meal part of it, advocacy or ministry, shall we call it, is already fully on board once shower. He's going to take it to the church board, and I told him if need be, to let me know, and I'll go speak in front of the board with him as well. Okay. Other than that, I don't have any other updates.
Norm, do you have something?
Well,
Gary, I think Norm has something.
you? I'm sorry, Norman.
Do all of these mobile groups, and some of them come from Tampa, do they have all our materials to distribute to people wherever they go? This is very important because we have a lot of materials.
Our
And
material,
they should have all of them, because they're kind of an attraction point for the homeless.
our material is Pinellas County specific. If they're in Hillsborough, there's probably a whole new set of contacts and stuff. You could make up a whole other book on Tampa. You know, like for instance, we have the Salvation Army here. It lists the 66th Street office, it lists the 4th Street office. I very much doubt you're going to find the Tampa office in that book. So that's an interesting thought. Does Tampa have a Tampa-based resource? But as I said, our books are mainly. Yeah, it's just right here.
Did anybody visit or stay in a shelter last year during the hurricane?
Great question. Did anyone? Did you? No?
Talking about any of the Salvation, or not the Salvation Army, but the Red Cross stuff, or the Coliseum down there. I stayed at one of
Mary
the.
said she did.
Yeah, I had to stay at a shelter. I was in the church.
What was it like?
Not good. Not good.
Yeah.
About 12 of us pushed in the room and they were on that.
Basically,
And the toilets plugged up about the second day that we were there.
basically the second half of my question was, did anybody stay on one of those that had those facilities like that? Because on the last Red Cross place that I stayed at, they had showers. They were like, it was a service, but they were like 8 showers in like one trailer kind of thing, and then like the handicap bathrooms and stuff like that, so people with wheelchairs can go in there and shower and you know. Yeah, they had me use those with her when I was with, you know. So, but yeah.
We had to evacuate. We had to go to a school. Like I said, they pushed about 12 of us in a room and the toilets quit working after the second day. They were plugged up.
Yeah,
There were no showers.
Yeah, it was the whole month of October. I mean, I was at Oak Grove Middle School, and then, but they had the Coliseum when they moved everybody down there from the initial storm. When I stayed there for another week, they had all that stuff outside, the trailers, with the bathrooms and all that stuff. And the one, the Red Cross one that was up Atlantic Christ Church, is up on Belcher and Old Coachman or whatever, that was number 4. Because I stayed in 4 different ones. I stayed in 4 different ones. It was the school first, and then they sent us to, I had to follow everybody to the Coliseum. I stayed there for a week, and then I went to where the lake is there, MLK area, Clearwater, like over there where they have the activity center with the lake and all that stuff. It's
I don't know what it's called, but yes, I know where you're talking about.
That was I was there for a few days and slept in the lunchroom for like 2 days, and then they sent me to the church that was up there because I was able to be in a separate room in a corner.
Just also to let everyone know, I do think we have officially lost our mics. So, we'll just, okay, we're good.
No, I'm
Okay, we're good.
Lost one mic.
I think we lost one mic, so we're gonna try to continue to be respectful and, because we've been doing a great job of that.
Yeah.
So I know we're down a mic, I know it's inconvenient.
It's right here.
We
Yeah,
will
no,
get
the other
them,
one's
I'm not so
probably that
sure.
one
That's the one
somewhere
that
too.
died.
Okay, well, if that one's working too, then just
Yeah.
disregard what I'm saying. But if we do lose one, we're all gonna continue to work together and be respectful, and we're gonna continue to get through this, and Mimi and I are gonna, we are gonna, thank you.
I saved the shelters for a month, so like the extended stay things or whatever, where they did after the initial store, that's where they had all those facilities, so you could take a shower and all that stuff. They had all that stuff parked out in a parking lot, where you could go out there at a certain time and go do what you wanted to do or whatever, and there was an attendant, you know, it's the whole thing.
So to kind of stay on that topic / pivot to our next discussion topic, I know we're going to talk about guest speakers. What would you think about having someone come in and talk about hurricane shelters and what they look like and maybe a little bit about those? It seems like maybe not all of us have stayed in them. Some of us have different experiences, maybe some good, maybe some bad. Seems like kind of maybe slightly negative, but maybe someone could come, maybe that could be one of the people that we consider to have as a guest speaker this year, especially before, you know, we get into like, I mean, it would have to be pretty soon if it was before we got into, but even if it was after this hurricane season, for next hurricane season, maybe we could add someone from them on the list. I mean, and this is just a brainstorming list. This doesn't have to be like a, we're gonna set these people in stone and like, we're gonna absolutely have every single one of them. This is just kind of like a time for us to talk about things that maybe we do have experience about and we would like to know a little bit more, or maybe
That goes.
or maybe we don't have any experience with it at all and we still want to know, we want to know a lot more. So do we want to add somebody from hurricane shelters on the list to come talk to us maybe?
I would like, go ahead. I'd like to see it because even though we are in the hurricane season, we're approaching into what I would refer to as the meat and potatoes, where we get the serious storms. First part of the season is usually real light, but, and we need to have the information about the shelters and that before the season hits, because we can't pass the information on if we don't know before they hit. And once it hits, there's no point in that, you know?
It's too late.
But we could get the information, take it to the masses, about knowing where to go. People are going to start asking real soon. As it gets more towards the end of this month, that's when the hurricanes are more likely. And people are going, what am I going to do if the storm hits? What am I going to do with this? And it would be absolutely critical that, you know, as leaders in the community, that we should know, you know, yeah, there's emergency shelters, this, and even to know certain ones that are going to be participating in the emergency shelter, where to go.
Yep.
Where do people go? What area do you live in? Okay, with that, you'd be happy to go to this location, to this place, or, you know, what have you.
Agreed. Completely agreed. What else? Yeah.
Mary?
Seeing as how I've had to go to shelters and I've been in homeless places, pre-pack, get a trunk with a lock on it, pre-pack your hurricane stuff ahead of time, pre-pack your hurricane stuff ahead of time in a trunk, and have a lock on it, because your stuff will be stolen at a shelter. Your phone will be stolen, your money will be stolen, your purse will be stolen, anything valuable will be stolen. You don't have it on you and you don't have a lock.
So make sure everything's secure.
I've been in St. Helper, I've been in every shelter in Pinellas County, we had to go to a place for the hurricane. So pre-pack a trunk with a lock
It's
on
in the
it,
box.
so that, I mean, if they take your trunk, then they take everything, but everything will be stolen if you don't have it on you and you don't keep an eye on it.
And it's definitely harder to steal a whole trunk versus just a small phone.
Well, they'll just open it and take the one out of it, but the Mary's right, you have a lock on it, they can't open it up. What's the person got here, that one? They can't do that.
What about any other guest speakers that we're thinking about for this next year while we're,
Well, we still have Kevin Abolis that wants to come
okay, perfect,
and speak.
okay,
We just had to, basically, we're waiting till the medical van is finished. Because I want him to bring that here when he does his presentation, and we actually get to tour in the medical vans.
perfect.
We actually get to check them out, see what, everything about it.
Super curious
I'm
about that,
curious.
can't wait.
I'm real curious, because they're talking about one of them having a shower. This I'd like to see.
Yeah. Very
That
curious.
intrigues me.
Same. What do we think? Anybody else that we know something about? Not. That we know a little bit about, we want to know more about? What do you think in the community? And I don't want to say the sky's the limit, but we can think outside of boxes. We can think in areas that we haven't gone to before. And also, all of you, most of you, I shouldn't probably say all, but most of you probably have more time in this committee, so you all know who has come in to speak before. So you guys have a little bit more history on that. So is there anybody else that you would like to return, or maybe step outside of, like I said, those boxes and have them come in and talk to us about something in the community that maybe we want to understand a little bit better? Like, do we think we want maybe the people from the various shelters, maybe to talk about like the behind the scenes part? Are we not feeling that? Like I said, I'm all for thinking outside of boxes. Whatever will help you all.
I mean, we could follow somebody that's actually volunteers at the emergency shelters with the storms, and then walk through the whole process of setting up. Then you're bringing the public into the situation. You want to pull them into the story. And that's how you're going to sell it.
Video, something like that.
Yeah. Take somebody, make a video about somebody that's a volunteer. Show them setting up, getting things situated,
A friend I've been staying with who's trying right now to make a website to show people how they can volunteer in those kind of situations.
Okay, cool.
Maybe she can offer something.
Yeah.
Yeah. She tried to find stuff and she was having a hard time with it. That's why she decided.
Okay.
I asked y'all last meeting, nobody had anything to say.
I don't know where I missed that question, but we have that.
Yeah,
You can volunteer. I'll pull up the link and send it to you in a second.
Do we have any pamphlets or literature with any of the county information on it for like shelters? I'm registered with the county because I'm electric dependent, so I have to go to a special needs shelter to be able to stay at the initial deal. Because I got a machine that I need to sleep with.
So,
That would be like people with oxygen machines.
yeah,
and all that kind
absolutely.
of stuff.
Yep.
And you have to sign up for that stuff ahead of time.
So would you want like I don't know if it would all fit onto a one-page paper, so I maybe not call it a one-pager, but just like one central location that tells some
Well,
details
there's a
about.
county website, like the Pinellas County Emergency.
And does it list it all in one place? I'll be honest with you.
Yeah,
I
you
have
can
not
just
seen
go,
that.
you can just go to the Pinellas County Emergency URL thing or whatever. And it's got this stuff, it's got all the stuff, with the county website, it's got all the stuff about the different kinds of shelters that you can go to, because there's special needs ones, and then they have ones that are pet friendly for somebody who has pets. It's all,
It's great.
it's all on there, and it's all, they
one
update
centralized-
it all the time and all that stuff.
Okay, fantastic. I'll be honest with you, I did not know there was one in one central location like that. Okay, that's great.
Yeah, and they coordinate with the ambulances and the fire department and
Wonderful.
stuff, where they'll go pick somebody up. There was like some trailer parks that were, I think, that were down in St. Pete or whatever, they got flooded and problems and, whatever was going on, so they were, Elk Grove Middle School, it was like ambulances in and out of that place, because that was a special needs shelter. Some certain places are designated that way.
Okay, you taught me something
There's a
today.
lot
That's
of
fantastic.
information on the county.
That's
website.
great.
I'll show you that.
That's great. What about, I know we talked about hurricane shelters, and I know we're like not in the season for this, but what about cold weather shelters? Has someone come in here and talked to you about cold weather shelters?
That's gonna be with the stuff.
I remember anyone coming in about cold weather shelters. I've had a lot of people ask me about it, but I think it'd be very, very vital if we get someone, actually a list of emergency hurricane shelters. Who's gonna be, operating as one? And then the coconut shelters, an updated list. We've lost some people this year that they had last year. I mean, who's actually gonna be participating in the program? Trying to have a list together of suggested places that are known participants or suspected participants. You gotta give them a direction to go.
So just to clarify, would we are we interested in putting somebody maybe to come in and talk from the cold night shelters, or are we just interested in a list? What do you think? Maybe like a guest speaker wise? Just for clarification. I just want to make sure I'm getting that. Okay.
But if we have who's gonna be here next year, who's not.
Okay,
and
okay.
who's gonna be available to
Okay.
people, so they don't have to guess.
Okay, so maybe just a presenter, like a short presentation on like who's gonna be here for the cold night shelters and like.
Oh, we did
kind of little
everything in
blurb.
the Clearwater Baptist, or the Clearwater Methodist Church TV and all that stuff. That was in
Yeah, but
November.
I only deal with three or four of them that I help coordinate with it, but,
Like last year before everything started,
Mhm.
we went up there and we did the preliminary, these are all the different places, da-da-da-da.
Okay.
And
With information that a bus ride will be free again next year when it gets cold, just things like that.
Okay.
Verify before we get out people.
Okay, I'll put that on our brainstorm list.
yeah, we had a pre-powwow out there as far as everything's concerned.
how about a flyer with, on one page, cold night shelters, on the next page, storm shelters? And then the third page, if you wanted to, we could put, do's and don'ts, or just the regular, non-emergency shelters. Kind of like the same format we did the, how to interact with police. Do an easy, fold up, three-way flyer, and then somebody that you could give them, and they would not only have cold night shelter locations, but have, hurricane shelter locations. So God forbid we get hit, they at least, have a direction to go.
Mhm.
Just a suggestion. Anybody got any ideas to add to it? Please speak up.
That's actually a good idea because, that's one thing, like the emergency county website or whatever, doesn't have any of that stuff. So it's, that's all for like the hurricane shelters and the different kinds and for the emergency.
And I think part of that is because sometimes it does change. And I think that's also what makes it hard to keep up with, is that it does change.
Well, it's not.
So
it's not
I
only
think
that,
that
it's
maybe
like
having like an up-to-date version of that would be good. I think you're right.
mostly the homeless and that kind of stuff. Not everybody, like all of the from the high-rise building, all the 85-year-olds, like, you know what I mean? It's like during a hurricane, everybody's doing all of that stuff. I left and went to the shelter because I didn't want a 7,000-pound tree to hit me neck. Yeah, I wrote it out the first two and I was like, not number 3.
Yeah, we definitely had some really serious hurricanes, not this past year, but the year before.
year.
So, I mean, I can definitely see that that is a huge priority for the community. What about, okay, so kind of recircling back to these guest speakers, this brainstorming list, is there anyone else from any facet of the community that you would like to hear from? What about like landlords that are open to, working with people who are homeless and maybe they have evictions, or maybe they have, like, maybe they can come in and talk to us about like, hey, I'm willing to do this, not necessarily to put people in their homes, but just kind of explain from their perspective what it looks like to be a landlord that works with people that are in situations that maybe some other landlords wouldn't work with.
Yeah, like that, working with bullying vouchers and
Correct.
that whole shenanigans.
Okay, yeah. So So maybe the vouchers, permanent supportive housing, I know that that's one that we've talked about a lot in here on and off. So maybe someone to come in and talk about what permanent supportive housing, which is like BOLI, and the vouchers and like what that looks like, because there's a lot to it. So, I mean, that might be something to kind of clear up, because I know we've kind of talked directly and indirectly about how confusing and how time consuming and everything permanent supportive housing can be. Is that maybe would we want to potentially have someone come in and talk about that aspect of it to us? What do you think?
That might be a nice idea. I know that, I don't know how soon, but I know eventually within the next month or so, I know that I need to turn my papers in down there at Farmers County, so.
Okay.
I can say something down there, I don't know.
Okay.
But, yeah, because that's the thing, is that people don't know, even the homeless or whatever, they don't know about that it's like a giant weight, and it's like, it is. That was like 2.5 year week
It might be more beneficial to have somebody who could actually put something together that we could show landlords where it would be beneficial for them to get involved in a program and give people breaks like that. 'Cause there are certain things in Section 8 and places like that give you as a benefit as a landlord to be able to do that for people, but I have no clue what they are.
So, kind of piggybacking off of that idea, we do have, I know HLA has a housing, because he's called a landlord liaison. There are other people that have like housing navigators type things.
Something like that could come and talk to us about what we could tell other landlords.
Yes.
That might give them the opportunity
Yes.
or the mindset that they might look into wanting to rent for people that get on Section 8, that we can provide more opportunities for people to have that kind of place to be.
Okay, I love it.
The thing that turns a lot of landlords off is that you have your voucher and you have a packet that's about this thick, that they have to sign 75 times in order for you to have.
Yep. Okay, good. So again, I hate to have rush everybody along, I really, really do. But again, for the sake of, we don't have a whole lot of time together every month, unfortunately.
We're actually running close.
We are. So any other last call for guest speakers that you want me to add to our maybe list? Anybody at all? Guest speakers that we think maybe. And like I said, these aren't like set in stone or anything like that. This is just completely a brainstorm session.
We already had the PSTA guest speaker come in, and everybody remembers, and we were discussing in the matter of a storm or in a cold shelter where with the fairs and things of that nature, what ones will not be running during the storm, what will. That's crucial, getting the people to the appropriate shelter. We already covered that. But yeah, I don't know if somebody who could be a speaker saying who would know which ones are going to be this, one that will be closed, one that will be open. I don't know if that's actually a...
Let me think about who that would be.
It's usually a last minute thing, I think, where people say, I'll do it, and then somebody says, okay, and then PST says, well, we'll get you there. You say you're going there for free.
The county website has personal information when it goes live, it has all that stuff.
Is any for you? Are you aware of any regulation changes that have happened with the shelters? I mean, new criteria?
Gary, you just absolutely made something dawn in my head, and I really appreciate it. So we are, we're about to have a lot of changes that are coming, down the pipeline to how people get housed from homelessness to being housed. There are about to be, a lot of changes that are going to occur within this next year. So one thing that I was going to potentially suggest is maybe someone to come in once we know what those changes looks like, because we don't have like a firm grasp on that right now, unfortunately. Right. But once we have a better idea of how that is going to look like specifically in our community, what would you think about having someone come in and kind of explain what those changes are going to look like?
For that, give us a heads up.
Yes. Yes, for our specific community, not just for like a nationwide, blanket-wide statement, but like, what is this gonna look like for Pinellas County, Florida? What do you think? Okay.
I think one of the friends of a friend of mine, dude, that would be huge. That would be huge.
Okay, so just, so we make sure we have all the most accurate information. There's just gonna be some changes, and we wanna make sure we're up to date on that, I feel like, but I don't wanna speak for you,
We
so.
have the most accurate information, we're giving them bad information, we're giving them tools to fail.
Yeah.
You know, we're trying to lift them up, not drop them down.
I think we can all, we get someone to speak on that
Yeah.
ahead of time.
I mean, I would like to see this committee elevated and educated to the point where I can take several of you up there to the state representative and sit you right down in front of somebody and get you talking and telling your stories directly to the people that deal with the laws, change the laws, know the laws, you know, get you heard.
We have to get money for things that are.
And actually use the money that is allocated by taxpayers for the need.
All right, so I am going to, I'm gonna be quiet now, and I'm going to pass the mic over to, since Michael's not here tonight, I guess we'll pass it back to Gary. Are you okay with that, Gary? Okay, and he'll walk us through good news stories and then our closing, and that'll be it for us for today.
All right. Anybody got any good news stories or, as I said, any updates of any sort you can share with us?
Yeah.
Debbie wanted to mention that she joined me in a lot of the advocacy, going to different sites, and we're actually starting a hygiene project for people, giving them socks, underwear, hygiene products, women hygiene products and such. I find it kind of awkward to get the ladies to take hygiene products from a guy, so she can talk with them directly and hand the stuff out, and they seem to be pretty receptive, so far so good. Her and I are also, she and I will be starting a nonprofit shortly. It's just a matter of waiting for a few things to clear and go with that. The reason for that, a lot of the advocacy, I have a couple businesses that have fleet upgrades, and I can get a hold of a nice stand-up box truck, and that can help out with the bike ministry as well as others. And she's also helping me with the bike ministry.
I was able to give away a little home in Colorado.
All right.
That's the fifth one this year.
Oh my gosh, that's
Congrats.
huge.
And you know,
Congrats.
I'm giving them that. Yep. They will give away a little home in Colorado.
Well, that's a good news.
That's great.
That's a good news story.
Sure.
I guess that's what God
Fantastic.
puts in my pathway.
Anyone else?
Person was, I'm sure, extremely gracious.
What about you, Norm? Good? I think we're just about running out of time, ladies.
Yes.
With your permission, I think I'm going to call this meeting adjourned. I thank you all for coming. It's been very instructive. I like the conversation going back and forth. We got some good ideas. Let's plan on our next meeting, okay? Yes.
There's definitely a lot of empty chairs in here, so if you know anybody who might be interested in coming to these, maybe get involved, send them here and let us, we'll come over, talk to them, and get more people in here, yeah.